Okay, here we go. Now, everyone who's joining will know this is the time of the week where we look in, where we just take some time to breathe, right? As business owners, we're always running around. We're always in the hustle, in the tactics, tools, the strategies, the patterns that we might not have recognized are coming from fear. The patterns we might not have recognized are coming from lack, right? Scarcity. And so it's in here where we start to breathe, we start to relax, and we start to notice the patterns we didn't notice otherwise, right? I'm starting to really be very, very conscious of when I get on the computer and do my networking, do my content, do all those different things, and then very, very consciously withdraw and just go back into a meditation or some silence or whatever it may be. I find it's exactly the same as breathing in and out, right? It's the mixture of doing what we can in the world and taking action, and also getting that guidance that action needs. And so I really start to interpret this as more of the meditation and Eastern philosophies, and coupling that with Western psychology and business building, and recognizing that it's exactly like breathing in and out. A lot of people are breathing out, right? Taking a lot of action, using a lot of tools and tactics and strategies, and not taking time to breathe in. Now, how effectively can you breathe out if you don't take time to breathe in, and vice versa? Right? How effective can you breathe in if you're not breathing out? And so finding that balance for you, I'm not sure what is in your expansion, but being very, very conscious of it, being very conscious of the fact that to live the quality of life that you want and to achieve what you want in the world, it requires both. Definitely requires both. So you'll find when you meditate, if you're like me and you meditate all the time and you're doing this inner work, you'll get this calling that says, make this difference, right? Get out there, do this, contact this person, inspire with this piece of content, do this live, right? It'll be a heart's calling. That's when you breathe out with purpose. That's when you breathe out with that's guided, right? And vice versa. If you're taking a lot of action out there and you're breathing out all the time, your body will say, breathe in. You'll start to feel areas of doubt or frustration or confusion. And it'll be in your expansion to just sit with all of that and just to take some time to breathe in. And this is where we breathe in, especially now, especially with a lot of the external world in what most are referring to as chaos. But it's definitely causing a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, right? A lot of judgment. And so I love doing these calls, and it's awesome that we have a cool crew and everyone's willing to show up live here, because you're the ones that are willing to look in. You are the one that's willing to breathe, to look in, to see, what does this mean, right? What's the deeper meaning? How can I grow from this? How can I contribute from this? So let's just take some time to breathe. It's important to recognize, as always, that when you breathe in and you're focused on your breath and you just take a deep breath in, it's very, very hard to be in the past, very, very hard to be in the future. Every time you focus on your breath, it brings you back to this present moment. So just breathe deep, sharing the energy here, the energy of everyone on this call live, even if you're watching the recording and the replay. Recognize a lot of people are here because they're willing to do the inner work, because they're here to serve, right? They're here because they're following a heart's calling, and they know this is what they're here to do. is to look in, is to breathe, is to ask the deep questions, and then take action from that place that's guided. So let's just do this for a moment. Feel the vibrations, the sensations as you breathe. Can you notice the tingling in your body, in your chest, your hands, your legs, your head? Can you be present to it? As you breathe, as you get present to your body, I'm just going to drink my tea. My tea always goes cold, so I'm too busy talking. Now, while you're breathing, you might want to just focus on your heart for a moment. Focus on this energy. Focus on your heart. Focus on the thing that's beating your heart. And while you breathe, while you focus on your heart, remember and recognize that you didn't do anything to earn it. While you remember this, some of you might want to put your hand on your heart. Some of you might want to just channel your energy towards your heart. But just breathe and remember you didn't do anything to earn it. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day. When you're awake, when you're asleep, when you're thinking about it, when you're not thinking about it, it just goes. It just beats. It just gives you the gift of life without you having to do anything about it. And there's part of you that knows if you're worthy enough to be here, to have the gift of life, then you're just worthy nonstop. You are just worthy. Full stop. Now, what do you feel when you remind yourself of that truth? When you remind yourself of the truth that you are worthy? Just because you're here, right? You didn't have to go out and achieve or prove anything or get followers to make your heart beat. You just breathe, you're here, you're just as alive as anyone else. And this is what we share. We share the gift of life. Now, when you remind yourself of that, maybe type in the chat, what are you feeling? What are you feeling now? And are you feeling different than when you started this call? Just by reminding yourself that you are worthy, you are love. When you feel gratitude for the fact that you're here, the fact that your heart's beating, the fact that there's this energy that you can't even comprehend. Derek says, more relaxed than I have for the past 4 or 5 days. What else are you guys feeling? Grateful, whole, more present? Beautiful. Me too. More present, hint of sadness. Beautiful. Because while you're present to yourself, you can also be present to everyone else. Saying calm, grateful, awesome. Beautiful. Continue to breathe with that. The more gratitude, the more calm, the more present you feel with yourself, you can feel for others. So the more you breathe, the more you focus on your heart, the more you notice these deep truths, the more you start to notice the truth out there, right? Especially in this world with the with COVID, with what's going on in the States right now. What do you feel different about that when you focus on your heart? What can you notice that's different? Now, I know, I know there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubt, a lot of worry, a lot of fear. But while you're present to your heart, you can also just allow those emotions to be there. It's important to remember they are coming up. These emotions are coming up so they can come out. They're coming up because they're ready to transcend. They're coming up because there's a 5-year-old within you that has a particular belief that needs to be seen, especially around uncertainty. I find in the world of business, and if you're a business owner, there's a pretty consistent pattern with people needing to feel in control, right? There needs to be this sense of control, right? And this is an internal 5-year-old that comes up that has a particular belief that said the particular belief is if things are happening out there outside my control, I'm not safe. So Kayla's saying, I wish there was a mass meditations, just like there are protests. Derek's on board. Kayla is now elected herself to start this huge meditation circle, this mass meditation. Well done. Well done, Kayla, for electing yourself to do that. There are a few people on here who would love to do that. Yeah, Kelly's been messaging me in the last few weeks, and she was very, very keen to start these Zoom calls of meditations. So Kayla, connect with Kelly. Maybe Kayla, in the chat box, put your link to your Facebook or a way in which people can connect with you, and definitely do that. Definitely organize some Zoom calls. I'd be more than happy to participate as well. That would be cool. There you go. We already have heaps of people wanting to participate. This is what happens when you make a comment here. Everyone jumps on board and everyone wants it to happen. So now it has to happen. That's what makes this crew so cool. That's why I love showing up here and doing what I can to contribute, because you are all wanting to do the inner work. You're all wanting to connect. You're all wanting to collaborate somehow. It's beautiful. That's why I've been doing the collaboration calls. All right, for those of you who weren't on the call yesterday, there were a few people here who were on the call. I just decided it was a heart's nudge of mine to do more collaborative calls. And so I've been doing in the last few weeks, doing Zoom calls where people are going on the call, sharing their business, and then everyone on the call is asking themselves the question of how may I serve, right? How can I help this person? Who can I connect them with? How can we do some service exchange? How can we be creative with with collaborating? And everyone's loving it. I'm not sure if everyone saw in the group, but I posted the recording of yesterday. It's on the YouTube channel, and it's just been awesome. Like that was such a cool feeling. There was so much emotion, there was so much love, there was so much connection of just people jumping on a call like this with the intent to serve, the intent to connect, the intent to make a difference. to operate and grow your business from kindness and contribution and generosity. And if those are your virtues, you might want to jump on the future calls. We're doing them each week. And it's very, very cool. I got so many messages after that call saying how magic it was, just the environment, just the feeling, the connection between everyone, and everyone's just already making so many cool connections. It's awesome. So if anyone wants to jump on that, let me know. And there's links in the Connect, Contribute, Collaborate group. So while everyone connects with Kayla, and you're organizing that Zoom call, let's do this. If you're feeling some doubt, feeling some uncertainty, feeling some fear, especially if you're in the US right now, first of all, my heart goes out to all of you. The vast majority of people in the network and even my clients are in the US. So it's definitely, I'm definitely here to support, definitely here to do what I can. And here's my invitation for you is, if you do have this doubt, this fear, this worry, this frustration, this anger, whatever's coming up for you, just for this moment, just allow it to be there. Just welcome it in and just allow yourself to feel that. Because as I said before, it's coming up so it can come out. It's coming up because there's a 5-year-old within you that needs to be seen, that needs to be heard, that needs to be understood, that needs to be loved. And what you'll notice is there's already within you, consciously or unconsciously, there's already a level of safety and a level of love. That's why this 5-year-old's coming to your conscious awareness. That's why it's coming up. Right? Exactly like if there was a 5-year-old in the park, like the analogy I use all the time, that 5-year-old comes to you because you feel safe. And that's exactly the same here. These inner 5-year-olds of fear and frustration and doubt, they're coming up because they sense there is an energy of safety, an energy of love. And so feel that safety, feel that love while you're holding this space also for this frustration or this anger or this confusion, this doubt, whatever it is. As Crystal just said, be the parent you always wanted. That's why the pattern will transcend. That's why the pattern will, the emotional patterns of fear and frustration and doubt and anger, that's why they will transcend. Because when you offer unconditional love for that emotion and for that side of you, you become the parent that 5-year-old wish they had. And that's when that pattern starts moving on, starts transcending. So just be there for a moment, just be there for this inner 5-year-old who's scared, who has uncertainty, who has a belief that things need to go the way I think they should for me to feel safe. Give me some indication here. Maybe just type in yes in the chat box. If you've caught yourself with the belief that things need to happen out there, that I need to believe what happens out there needs to let me express this. What happens out there needs to happen the way I think they should in order for me to feel safe. Type in yes if you've caught yourself with that belief. I definitely have. Thinking my money, my business, my relationships, my health, everything needs to go the way I think it should in order for me to feel safe. Right? Type in yes or give me some indication if that's come up for you. I guess there's not so much anymore at times though. Yeah. So Kayla, Crystal, Laura. That being said, I'd enjoy more finances, especially around money. Like if you're not triggered by the external circumstances of what's going on in world affairs, what's going on in your finances or your health or your relationships. Because you might catch yourself with that belief that says, it needs to behave, it needs to pan out the way I think it should for me to feel safe. But here's the interesting thing. When you meditate and you focus on your heart, when you breathe, when you get present, you can actually start seeing deeper meanings. And the meaning of what you're being called towards and what's actually happening, you recognize everything's happening for a reason. Everything's happening for a reason. We are all being guided by something. Now, you don't actually need to know what that reason is. You can just hold the belief that this is serving me somehow. Exactly the way your fear comes up. The way in which you hold love for your fear is to recognize that it was conditioned because of very positive intent. Right? It was conditioned in order to keep you safe, in order to keep you feeling enough. Because when we're young, we develop these patterns that say, this is who I need to be, and this is what needs to happen in order for me to feel loved. And it turns out what's happening in world affairs right now is triggering that inner 5-year-old. Right? It's triggering that side of you that has this belief. The beautiful thing is you can hold space for that side of you, and you can hold space for those emotions to be there. And therefore your world will transform because you've transformed. So here's the thing. As you breathe and as you feel this inner 5-year-old, as you breathe and feel this side of you that's scared, recognize what you feel. What do you feel and what do you believe when you have compassion for this side of you? For everyone who's on this call, live or on the recording, just imagine this inner 5-year-old that's scared is sitting on your lap. Just for a moment. This inner 5-year-old, this side of you that was conditioned in order to keep you safe, in order to keep you feeling worthy or enough. Just imagine this side of you just sitting on your lap, just feeling scared. Now, what does this 5-year-old really need? What this 5-year-old doesn't need is more money. Doesn't need the world to behave the way it thinks it should. All right, doesn't need that relationship that makes me feel loved. All right, you guys have got it. That 5-year-old just needs a hug, reassurance, needs to feel seen. Because no fear or doubt or frustration can continue in a space where it's actually seen, where it's actually loved, where it's actually understood. So offer that space for this 5-year-old to be seen right now. And while you're noticing, while you're seeing, while you're understanding, while you're listening to this 5-year-old, ask yourself the question, who's the one listening? Who's the one that's listening to this 5-year-old? It's not the 5-year-old. It's a different side of you. It's a different side that's seeing this 5-year-old. This might be your inner parent. This might be your inner love. This might be your inner guidance. This might be the real you. Now, if you can see the 5-year-old in you, what you'll start to notice is you can see the 5-year-old in others. Whether it be people who are in fear with their job, their insecurities of finances, right? The anger of all these protests, whatever it may be, you can start seeing the 5-year-old in every single other person who just has their fear, their doubt, their patterns, right? Everyone's just scared. They have their inner 5-year-olds running the show, and their inner 5-year-old has a pattern that says, this is who I need to be in order to feel enough or loved or safe. Every single time. When you watch the news, notice the 5-year-old in everyone. Notice the inner 5-year-old that had this belief that said, I need to be secure in order to feel enough. I need to be safe in order to feel worthy. I need to be successful in order to feel worthy or enough, whatever pattern they may have. And if you can have compassion for your inner 5-year-old, you can have compassion for their inner 5-year-old. And you can start seeing behind their external behaviors. This was the biggest shift for me getting into the world of coaching, is I stopped believing the story of what's on the external. Every single time I have a coaching call with a client, or I'm on here, I'm doing some coaching in business groups, whatever it may be, and someone presents me with a problem or someone presents me with a behavior pattern, I'm very, very quick to see past it. Very, very quick to see past it because I've seen past myself. And this is what you're experiencing now. You can experience compassion, absolute compassion for everyone, knowing that every single behavior, every single emotional pattern happens for a reason. Happens for a reason. Tony Robbins calls it the 3 Ps: protect, prevent, and provide. Every single pattern you have right now, if it's a pattern, it'll be protecting you or preventing something from happening or providing you with something. The deep question is, what is that? Protect, prevent, and provide. Every single behavior pattern, emotional pattern, this is what happens. There's a deep, deep reason under that. And you're starting to experience it, not only for yourself, but for others. What's everyone saying here in the chat? I work with kids, toddlers, and young kids, and the kids within the adults, basically. Yeah. It's important to view the negativity as a 5-year-old rather than an evil force. Totally. Totally. Recognize that. What your ego might have thought as evil, your parent or your inner lover or your inner sage, this higher guidance, can see behind that, right? And see the pattern behind what you would call evil. What it really comes down to is love. Everyone just wants to feel love. Everyone just wants to experience heightened levels of love. That may be expressed through anger, through frustration, through doubt, through whatever may come up for you that's uncomfortable. I can guarantee you it will always trigger back to the cause and the root of who do I need to be and what needs to happen in order for me to feel love. It's like all roads lead to Rome. No matter what your fear is, it'll always lead back to love. The fear of not being loved. Now, here's the question. What can you do to bring love to this world of chaos and uncertainty and fear? What is it that you can do from this place of compassion to bring more love, to bring more understanding, right? Kayla's already done it because she's going to start this massive movement of a huge Zoom call. I'm not even sure if she's willing to do that, but I like to just call her out on it. I'd be more than happy to help, more than happy to participate. It seems like everyone would love to do those sort of meditations, especially as a group. That's why this sort of group is cool. We all jump on here and we do this inner work. All right. And yesterday's call for the collaborative call, or what I'm calling the serving circle, it was just awesome energy of people who all understand, they're all compassionate, they're all coming from a place of kindness, a place of love. And I think building business with those core virtues is the new wave of the future. It's building your business consciously from a place of your spirit consciousness instead of ego consciousness. Right? Ego consciousness is more is better. Ego consciousness is focused on what can I get from this, being attached to the outcome, right? Focused on significance and status, right? Those are all beautiful things. You just don't have to be led by that, right? Starting to really, really shift. And so it's been awesome to get a lot of interest and a lot of people participating in those calls. So feel free to jump on the YouTube channel as well if you want to check out the recording. I posted it this morning. And let me know if you want to join next week. So do you guys have any questions? I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. More than happy if someone wants to jump on and do some live coaching as well. If you want to have something you're struggling with or something that you want to work through or something you even just want to explain, that's cool. Is it cold there? It's getting cold. It's definitely getting cold. We're into winter now. Not as cold as some other places. I lived 2 years in Canada and that was cold. So if anyone wants to come on, type in 1 in the chat box if you want to come on and have a talk. You don't have to. I just love doing this sort of group call and this group chat. But it'd be awesome if we could do that. More than happy to help out you guys. If not, we can just finish up with a good positive intent and a good way of doing that. We got a couple people. Uchenna, I'll call upon you if you want to have any questions. You want to talk something through. Let's see if we can get you on. And Kelly, we might grab you before we leave as well. My friend, how are you? When your Zoom catches up, feel free to unmute yourself and say hi. Oh, hang on, I didn't have my earphones in. Don't say hi yet. Like, why can't I hear you? Ill prepared. How are ya?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Do you have any specific question? What would you like to discuss?
Yeah, I've been following your teachings for a while. I remember I got to know you from a YouTube video. Yeah, my friends, they were interviewing you. So yeah, since then I've been following you. It's been like 2 months or so. I'm sure, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just want to talk about my my business that I'm trying to start it. As you haven't really made it to business, there's no structure to it. So yeah, I've been on social media, Facebook particularly, sharing my message through writing and videos sometimes. And just like you said, when I started, I didn't have any intention of making it a business, or had no idea where it was going to really when I started. And
no one does.
I'll say, yeah, I'll say luckily for me, in a way, the Facebook page grew very big. I have about 564,000 followers. And my birthday was yesterday, no, sorry, on the 2nd of June. And I'm having a feeling that I should take the next step to, yeah, because I've been getting calls from people for coaching and all that. But I'm not like, how would I put it? I'm not so confident that I can bring results for maybe that's why I haven't started.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm still hiding, and I think I want to start.
Hey, I have we have a call booked for tomorrow, is it? I
Yeah,
think we have a book. Yeah. We'll definitely discuss that on tomorrow's call. But everyone here will be able to relate. Everyone here who's started a business, who's been in a space of, I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't know what to do, but and having those doubts of, man, can I actually get people results? Right? That's really that's a very, very common pattern. Um, my what I basically do a lot of the time, um, especially earlier on in my coaching, is just allow that doubt to be there. Right? There's a side of you that says, "Oh my god, I don't know if I can get results for people," but recognize that's coming because you have this huge intent to serve. Right? That doubt wouldn't be there if you didn't have the heart to really want to make a difference. Can you feel that?
yes, yeah,
It's like those who are the most passionate about making a difference have the doubt also of, oh my God, but can I make that difference? Right. Those who are
yeah,
just out there, those who would be out there mostly for what they could get, they wouldn't even have any doubts about what they would, if they can make a difference or how they can help, because they wouldn't care. They'd just be focused on what they can get. So recognize it's coming because you have this energy of wanting to help and wanting to serve. Right.
yeah, yeah. To be honest, I know I'm making an impact already on people. I get a lot of feedback and messages from people. Um, I the way I, the way I structure my own things, I don't really structure it because it comes from intuition. So I just write whatever truths come to me, and it seems to make great impact on people. Does the right things, and I'm somehow I feel skeptical because I feel that if I have to start structuring it or something, I might lose that um, intuition.
Mm.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
gotcha. What's the difference you're here to make? What's the difference you want to see in the world?
Okay, basically, I was trying to heal myself from from my own life problems. I got into addiction. I lost my way. I wasn't really lost. I knew I was lost, but I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to follow my calling, basically. So I was trying to fit into the world, even though I knew behind me that I was doing the wrong thing. So I was there for a very long time. So the writing was a way for me to free myself by saying my truth,
Yeah.
and from there it started growing. And yeah,
Now, are
I
you being
think the
called to
impact
help
I
in it
want
as
to
a
bring,
coach?
yeah, it's more of like authenticity. I think that's the message I have.
Cool. If you're being called
How
to
being
help,
your true self, yeah, can
and a lot
help
of
you in
people
every
here will
aspect.
will resonate as well, because if you're being called to help by your heart, right? Because you're like, oh, this feels expansive. The reason why you know it's your heart is because it also feels scary. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? It'll feel very aligned with your heart. It'll feel like a pull and a calling to your heart, but it'll be very scary to your mind. And the reason being is because
exactly.
when you're being called by your heart, you're being guided by something that's bigger than what your mind can see. Right. So that you'll be called to say, oh my God, I want to help in the form of coaching. But then your mind will say, oh, but you can't make money doing that. Oh, but you don't have the results. Oh, but you can't get results for other people. And your mind will freak out. Right.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
but the reason but you're being called by your heart, and that's what you have to listen to. It's almost like this is the direction you're going in, and the reason why this is happening is to teach you the lessons that you need to learn in order for you to be successful at that. Right. So it's like when I started coaching, I had all these doubts as well, but what I recognized was I'm having these doubts so that I can learn the lessons necessary to be a successful coach. So you're having this doubt right now because there's a side of you that you need to love unconditionally. There's a side of you that's coming up in the form of fear and doubt and frustration.
Yeah.
A 5-year-old that you need to hold space for, that you can love unconditionally, right? The side of you that can fail, the side of you that can go broke, the side of you that can, get out there and look silly. You need to, it's important to hold space for that side. And therefore, that's the learning curve in order for you to serve the way your heart's guiding you to do that. Does that make sense?
Very well. Very well. Exactly. Yeah,
So
I have the deep calling to do it, but like you said, it's the mind that's a roadblock or something. Puts a roadblock, yeah.
there's always
That's
roadblocks,
stopping me from, from taking the next step, basically.
Yeah. Maybe you can, so it'd be awesome before our call tomorrow, hold space for this side of you, this space that feels, whatever your worst case scenario is, imagine that and hold the loving safe space for that inner you, that inner child that surfaces in that worst case scenario, right? And chuck in the comments here where people can find you, where people can find your content and everything like that. That would be cool for people to jump on and support you in that way as well.
All right.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions? We might bring Kelly on as well before we jump off. But do you have any other initial questions?
No.
Okay,
I just
cool.
wanted to say
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. All right. Kelly, if you want to jump on. Yeah, everyone's always asking how. I have to promote you to a panelist. There we go.
Hello.
How are you, Kelly?
I'm good.
Awesome. What would you like to discuss?
Well, let me see what I wrote. That's my question. I said, I seem to organize things that are true and open-hearted, but I can't seem to get the awareness and word out and the people signed up, basically. Like I'll get these feelings that at least seem true, and maybe they're not, maybe I'm misinterpreting it, to lead something or do a class, but I don't seem to have much, at least yet, of like the business side, how-tos and all of that. And I really don't like that side of it. So that's part of me that feels resistant. But then I don't know, I just had a thought as you were talking with him that maybe my heart isn't totally in just like the soul coaching side of it, at least not like the one-on-one with adults. And maybe there's a different aspect of it that I haven't quite found yet. Because I do like a lot of the teaching aspects and like bringing forward a message or trying to figure out some of this stuff with like younger kids and teens. So maybe I'm just not wanting to deal with adult problems. I don't
Maybe. It's possibility. What's something that you are putting out into the world? Like you just said, I love putting out a message. What's a message that you love putting out to the world where you don't even care if anyone reads it?
Kind of just reflecting the journey that I've been on, I guess. Kind of just realizing the truth of who we are and the value of being present and learning about presence and this infinite energy and how that can just shift and change everything in life and create a much deeper love and appreciation for everything that is. And I feel like the spiral effect of that is that it would then bring so much change in our culture too. And with everything like right now we're having in the States going on, I feel like our country has been in need of a huge values shift for a long time, and I feel like this is maybe the starting point of that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, with everything going on, I've actually felt very at peace within myself, so.
That's the interesting message. What the thing that everyone here is listening could probably resonate, because the thing that you want to bring out to the world, and you're bringing it out from your heart. So you didn't even care what you're going to get from it. You didn't even care who reads it. It's just coming through you, is generally the message you also need. Because like you just said, you basically want to release the message of who we really are. And that underneath everything, there's this divine energy and deep levels of love.
Mm-hmm.
Could that also be something you could bring on to this challenge of business as well?
How? Like in what way?
Because if we're releasing things in business and we're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do for business and people aren't signing up, could that be a lesson in there of deep love for yourself and deep love, a deeper level of understanding that there is this divine energy that's leading you to something great, that's leading you to your purpose and your passion?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me, I'm consistently meditating and following my heart, and the energy that comes from that is like, I don't even care who the hell shows up. I don't even care what I'm going to get from it.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is, that's how I know it's coming from my heart, right? That's how I know, and everything else just happens as a byproduct. It's like with it's like with these calls, like I say all the time, I would still be here if no one was here. If no one was listening, I'd still be here, because this is just me. This is what I love. This is what's coming through me. And same with the collaborative calls. I'm like that. I'm like, I don't care who shows up. If there's me and someone else, like, let's collaborate. Because for years, I just love connecting people. For some reason, it's part of my dharma. And so I feel that this new consciousness moving forward is like building a business from your heart, where it's like, I'm releasing this to the world because this is my inner message. And what I find, when you come from that energy, you just meet the right people. The things fall into place. But I can sense that there's a lesson here. Like same with you, Jenna. There's a lesson here that's going to help you be successful with this. And like I said, it might be questioning, is coaching the right thing for me? Is it content creation? Is it doing more meditations? Is it doing something towards like dance and exercise and things that you love? Right? It's sort of just bringing out the thing that's in you that can't not be released.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a little bit of digging, but I'm getting the sense that this whole business, putting together, people signing up type of challenge, is helping you dig deeper.
Yeah.
Could you feel that?
Yeah.
What are you feeling
and
now?
it is. I feel like you're right. And I feel like it's interesting because that stuff's not really taking off, but what is taking off are the connections I'm making and different people coming into my life, and that side of it, like not necessarily the business side yet, but that side of it. And like the call we were all on last night just felt so expansive and kind of gave me some ideas and lit up some things. So it's like, I feel like it's taking me somewhere.
Yeah.
In a sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you feel if it never took off? If all of this never took off, quote unquote, whatever takeoff is, what would you feel?
Yeah. I guess I'd feel okay. It hurts. Like I feel like a little bit of hurt, but there's also like a little bit of relief there.
Yeah, totally. I noticed this in myself when I asked a couple of months ago, I stopped taking on clients, and I recognized, I'm like, there's a huge relief, but there's also a lot of fear. It's like, who am I without this problem? You know? And it's sort of similar here. It's like, if none of this was to happen, part of you feels Like it's pain because it's pain to the side of you that thinks I need to take off to be worthy, right? Or I need to take off to be loved. There's also a part of you that's like, if I don't have to worry about any of that, then I can just be.
Yeah. And it's funny because when I'm in that and I get in that space with the rest of my life, basically everything else, like I'm in a really good place. It's when I try to like bring in this businessy side, career, make a living part, that's where it gets thrown off and I can get back in my head more. So it's like trying to bring everything else I know from the other aspects of my life and that beingness into also the career side of it, I guess.
Yeah. So many people here can relate. It's like, this is my passion. This is so much of my passion. This is what I want to release to the world. But then there's a side of you like, how do I make a living doing that? How do I make money? How do I take off? What tactics, tools, and strategies do I need to use? Right? All those different things. And it's such a cool journey. It's such a cool little space of going back into meditation, going to this side, then going into your head, going back and thinking about like, what do I do? Right? When you hold space for the side of you that thinks there's the right or wrong way to do it, that starts to melt. Everyone on here can probably relate when you start to catch yourself with the belief like there's a right or wrong way to do something.
And also, I think you hit it on the head too, like the being okay with it not taking off. Yeah. When you, even just you saying that, like lifted a pressure off of me. And not saying that that's what I want to happen and I want to just be done, because I still think there's something in that for me. But to take off the pressure of like feeling like it has to happen. Yeah. Yeah.
And also the relief, because when you let go of that, when you say, okay, if it doesn't take off, what am I to feel? Then you can separate yourself. You can like detach yourself from any outcome. Because once you're okay, once you feel fully your worst case scenario and realize you're actually safe and enough and loved, regardless of what happens, you can take action from your heart and recognize that I don't even care what happens. I'll take action from my heart, and then whatever happens is meant to happen. Right? You can move through the world not attached to anything, right? Being open to everything and attached to nothing. And then just living in this space of wonder of like, what's going to happen next? What lesson am I going to learn here? What side of me can I love here? Right? And it's from that space where people will feel your energy. They'll feel safe around you. And that's what I felt. That's why there's all these people here on this call, is because they feel safe to jump on with me because I feel safe with them. Right? Because we're not coming from a space of there's a right or wrong way to do this. And if we don't do it right, we're going to freak out.
And needing it to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone here can feel that I don't need you to be here in order for me to feel enough. And therefore there's not that pressure. And that's the same with you. It's when you release yourself of the attachments and the outcomes, because you felt ahead of time the worst case scenario, you've loved all sides of you that can fail. You'll start getting more and more guidance from your heart of the true message you want to share with the world. And then people will show up. Like I said, you're already making awesome connections. And you'll just get high level creativity of how to do that. Right?
Yeah.
What else is coming up?
I think that's pretty much it right now. As much as you do the work and you think you're not attached, then sometimes you're like, oh yeah, well, I'm still attached to that outcome.
Yeah. Why do you think I meditate 2 hours a day? Everyone's like, oh, you're a genius, you meditate 2 hours a day. I'm like, no, it's cool. I need it. It's like, I catch myself all the time of getting on a call and being like, oh my God, what if no one shows up? And what if only 3 people show up? Or what if I do this and I don't get clients, whatever. And then you just step back and you just separate yourself and you recognize that pattern. You recognize that you're in that. You recognize the story. And then you just hold the loving, safe space for the side of you that thinks that needs to happen for you to feel loved. And
there's a part too I'm feeling now of like also wanting to succeed, like the other guy was saying, like wanting to succeed and helping people basically, and putting that pressure on too.
Yeah. The beautiful thing is when you take the pressure off yourself of the outcomes, you take pressure off other people for their outcomes as well. You can just be and you just allow them to follow their heart because you're following yours.
Mhm.
And you know deep down, no matter what happens for them, it's for a reason, because you've recognized it within yourself. Whatever happens for you right now, whatever's coming up, whatever outcomes come about, happens for a reason.
Mhm.
Right? And you can feel that level of safety, that level of love, that level of security, that level of guidance within that belief.
Mhm.
So definitely keep me posted with what comes up and the insights you have. I think I've got a call scheduled with you as well, right?
Yeah, I scheduled one finally. Yeah.
Jeez, how many calls
Thank
do I
you.
have with everyone? Crazy. All right, cool. Any other questions come up? Or is that everything? I think we've lost you anyway. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on the call. This has been cool. This is always a lot of fun. And I'll basically be doing these every week. Like you guys know, I'll be here same day, same time next week. For those of you who want to jump on the collaborative calls, let me know. I'll send you the Zoom link, the recordings on YouTube. Feel free to check that out because it was a powerful, powerful session yesterday. It was amazing. It was emotional and definitely there was some magic going around. So, man, thanks so much to everyone. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all next week. I'll see you in the community. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to help out how I can. Cheers, guys.